There you go.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. Time passes so quickly. I'm feeling a lot better. I know lots of people keep asking about me. How am I getting on with my hip? I'm doing okay. I've been to hospital again today, but I didn't realise. But my left leg is half an inch shorter on my left side, and from my right side. So I've been to hospital to get like an insole put in. To stop me from wobbling. Anyway, it seems to work. I noticed when I was walking out, I thought, oh yeah, I'm not going side to side. So it does help anyway. Rebecca's in chat room said, hey up Bob, good evening, Philip.
Hi,
So
good
my
evening.
guest today is Philip Permont. Philip is the author of Crystal Healing Volumes 1, 2, the Book of Crystal Grids, and the Complete Guide to Crystal Chakra Healing, all published by CICO. Can we please welcome Philip to the show? Hello there.
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing great now. I know you've
Yeah,
had a few health problems and everything.
I have.
Um,
You said a thing though about your legs being different lengths, and that's a really weird thing because years ago I went to see first time ever. I went to see an osteopath, and the osteopath said to me, "Oh, the problem is you've got one leg longer than the other." And I thought, "Nah, don't be silly. You can't have one leg along the other. You'd fall over." Anyway, he crunched a couple of bones, well, as they do, and
yeah.
I probably tripped over as I walked out of his office because I had my legs were the same length. So yeah, he fixed that, but yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I didn't realise. Surgeon said, oh, by the way, your leg's shorter on your left hand side. I didn't think no of it. And then he said, oh, I want you to go see somebody about it. Anyway, I've been today, he measured it and he thinks, yeah, about half an inch. So anyway, he put these things together, put them in the back of your shoe. And when I did put them in, I walked up and down again. I thought, God, that feels better. Something simple like that. It stopped me wobbling.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I've had a few of my own. So I was diagnosed with lung cancer just before Christmas, and I had an operation the end of last year, which removed some of the lung, and they got all the cancer. So I'm 100% free of cancer now, which is really good.
Oh,
Um,
brilliant.
yeah, they were totally amazed by how small it was, how little it had grown, and I'd been working with peridot in between being diagnosed and having the operation. So peridot is absolutely brilliant. I recommend it for anyone with any type of cancer. It seems to just slow it down. So sometimes that can make a massive difference.
And what is it, actually? What is it, Philip?
Peridot is
Peridot.
funnily enough, I have one here on me. Oh, bear with me because I have a few crystals here on me.
Yes.
There we are. This is the peridot. Oh, yeah, there we are.
Right, I can see that.
Yeah, so it's
Greenish.
a green crystal. Yeah, and also you can get it in bracelets. So that one's a peridot bracelet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm also wearing. So I'm carrying it and wearing it, and it really, really makes an amazing difference. And I would just recommend that for anyone at all with any type of cancer. It doesn't matter what.
Right, right, right.
Hmm.
So how did it all start for you then, from the beginning?
Well, it actually started when I got ill originally, but not from cancer. I had Crohn's disease. So Crohn's disease is a inflammatory disease of the bowel, and it happens where the gut basically swells, but it swells in, so it blocks itself. And the usual treatment, medical treatment, is sort of steroids and stuff. And then when that doesn't work, they do a bowel resection. So they sort of cut a bit out, and then they stick the two ends back together with sellotape or whatever they've got handy, anything really. And then after having 2 of these, I had a third operation. And the third one that I had, the third bowel resection, they managed to sever the sciatic nerve going to my right leg. And the doctor said afterwards, the operation was a great success. Sorry, you can't walk. And nerve tissue never regrows. So medically, I can't walk. I can, so that's absolutely fine. I can get up and just, move around. That's no problem at all. But there's no sciatic nerve going to my right leg, or no functioning one anyway. And that's when I got into alternative therapies generally. And I started having people come to the hospital to do treatments on me. So crystal healing, Reiki, spiritual healing, anyone, traditional Chinese medicine, herbs, acupuncture, all sorts of things, everything. Anyone who would come into the hospital came in. And the nurses thought it was really great. And this is going back to the early 90s. So there's a time when complementary therapies weren't as recognized and they weren't as accepted as they are now. So lots of people thought it was pretty weird. The doctors were totally not into it at all. And then a weird thing happened, really, really weird, which was the day that I knew crystals worked. And in those days, I used to smoke, which lots of us did anyway. But someone had brought me in some cigarettes. And in those days, of course, you could smoke in hospital as well. Younger people might think that's a bit weird, but we remember that. But you used to be able to smoke in hospital. But you couldn't smoke in the room because there was oxygen in the room. They didn't want you to blow up the hospital. So there was a smoking area in the corridor. And I sort of went down. I had these 2 things. One was a drip that was like going into on a wheelie thing on one side of me. The other side of me was this really, really big, massive box thing, also on a wheelie thing, and that was pumping pre-digested food into my heart. I always wondered who digested the food, but anyway, we won't go there. And then I got these 2 wheelie things apparently, and I got myself, out into the corridor and by the window where the smoking area was. And I'm standing there holding myself up and having a cigarette. And a nurse comes along and she says, "What are you doing here?" And I thought, oh, here we go. Okay, the whole smoking, lecture thing. And she said, "You can't walk. Get back to bed." And that was the moment I knew something worked. Yeah. And and so 6 weeks and 2 days after I was told I wouldn't walk, I walked out of the hospital.
Brilliant. Simon's in the chat room. I don't know if you can get into chat. He said, he's got cancer, skin cancer under his eye. And he was just saying, I'm on a 56-month waiting list.
Oh, golly.
So ridiculous. No rush with the National Health. Do you think tell him to get in touch with you to try and get a bit of help with crystals?
By all means, yes. I can't actually see the chat. Oh, yes, I can. Right. Sorry. Yep, I've got it now. Comments. Yep. By all means, get in touch with me. Yep, I can see that now. Yeah. Just send me a message. Yes.
That'd be great. When you go and choose it, how do you choose a crystal? What do you think is going to work for you?
There are 2 ways really. Firstly, I think crystals choose you. So if you're just in a crystal store, even if you're just browsing online or whatever, and you're just drawn to something, it jumps out at you, it waves, it says, "Hey, me over here." Yeah. You need that crystal. Don't worry about it. They know better than we do. They've been on the planet for hundreds of thousands and millions of years, billions of years, some of them, so don't worry too much about why. Just trust them. And the other thing is you can always go to a good crystal book and just look up the condition that you've got, or look up crystals and see what they do, or just browse through the pictures in the book and see what it is. So this is, funnily you mentioned that. So that's the Crystal Healer, of course. That's the first book that I wrote. And this is now the pocket edition of it. So this has just come out a few weeks ago. And so this is the pocket edition of the Crystal Healer. That's sort of there, I think.
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah, brilliant.
And in here, there's some joyous things. So you've got 250 different crystals, and they're all arranged in colors, basically. So if you've got a crystal and you don't know what it is, you can just go to the color section and you should be able to find it. And in the back of the book, all the way back here, there are 500 ailments and which crystals to work with and what to do with them. So Alison's just asking, isn't she, about something for arthritis. Yeah, arthritis. Chrysocolla and copper together, the two crystals, are absolutely brilliant for arthritis. Yeah, the two of them. Just hold them or take them on somewhere really, really near to wherever the arthritis is, the worst joint, basically, the worst pain.
I'm going to say, is there different crystals for different pain then?
Yeah, there's crystals for pain generally, and then there's crystals for different areas of the body and different systems in the body. So one of the crystals which is really good for pain is chevron amethyst. So anyone who's got any long-term pain, chronic pain, banded amethyst is really, really, really the best thing. It just takes the edge off of it. And anyone who has long-term pain knows that if you can just take the edge off of it, then your whole life changes, because things which were impossible suddenly become a little bit possible. So that's a really, really key thing, banded amethyst. And for acute pain, things which are going on right now in a big way, then generally a clear quartz crystal. And if you go, I'm sure I've got one, funny enough. Oh, I haven't got one on me. But actually, I do. This is one here. Yeah, clear quartz crystal. And all you need to do is take the pointy bit and point the pointy bit at the bit that hurts, and just move it around in a clockwise direction, and the pain will ease in a few minutes. It's quite miraculous.
Oh, brilliant!
Works for everyone all of the time. Neither of them are designed to actually fix the actual problem, but they are really, really good at taking the physical pain away. So you still need to look at dealing with the cause of it.
So Simon's just saying anything for CPTSD would be great.
CPTSD, chronic something.
Yes. And probably somebody will get back to us on that and tell us what it actually is.
Yeah, so I'll look it up. Why not?
Yeah. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right, okay, so it's PTSD, which is complex. Yes. So one of the things which works really well for PTSD generally, sorry, it was the C that threw me on that, the complex bit. One of the things that generally works well is calcite, any type of calcite, and it's really, really, really calming. A lot of the time, anyone who's suffering from PTSD reacts to things in ways which are, I don't know what the right word is, different to the way other people would normally react to something, say. And so just calming it down, that is really, really helpful. And any of the calcites, green calcite is really good. Anyone who's getting panic attacks from PTSD, or gets panic attacks at all, or just anxiety, stress, green calcite's absolutely brilliant. Orange calcite is more of a lifty up one that sort of brings your energy up and makes you happier about things, and brings you up from a space of being down. So, yeah. Calcite's a good place.
Why do crystals change colour?
Well, it depends on the crystal. There are some which are dichloric, which can appear to change color depending on which axis they're in. So I haven't got one on me at this. Actually, I do have one on me again. It's here. So this tourmaline is dichloric. But I'll show you the principle on this, but you won't actually be able to see it. But if you hold it this way round, it appears to be one color. And if you hold it that way round, it would appear to be another color. And it just depends on the axis that it's going through. That's one explanation. Another way crystals change color sometimes is that they react to the type of lighting that you've got. So things like tanzanite can, where you can get a different color of it depending on the light that you're in. So if you're in daylight, it will appear one color, and if you're in artificial light, it will appear another color.
Mason's on about.
Sorry, I was just going to say there was one more thing about it, which is that sometimes crystals in sunlight will either fade, or on rare occasions the color will be enhanced.
All right.
Yeah.
Mason's here. Good evening, gentlemen. What about providing me with more energy and motivation and drive?
Citrine, this one that I just helped. Whoops, this one. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to work out which way round still the camera goes. Yeah, citrine. Right. There's another one here.
Citrine.
Citrine, yeah. So citrine, this one is in particular is my writing crystal. So this one inspires me to write. But they really are super energetic and give you loads and loads of energy and motivation. So citrine, absolutely.
Why do crystals need cleansing then?
Well, anything in life is about an exchange of energy, and crystals exchange energy with you or the world or whatever it is that you're doing. So if the crystal's giving you something that's positive, it's picking up stuff that isn't good for you. And if it holds on to that, and then you go to work with the crystal again, you're going to get that stuff back. So the reason for cleansing crystals is to get rid of that. There you are. Nice and
very good. Yeah. Can crystals reproduce then?
Yes, they can. Funnily enough, I'm hoping, I haven't actually got one to hand that will show you that, but crystals reproduce in two ways. And this is, both of them are quite amazing. There are some crystals where, this is like the terminate. Sorry, just trying to get to the camera thing. There we go. This is the termination. So this crystal's growing in this direction here. And sometimes it's going that way. Sometimes a crystal will get separated from its friends. It's growing in a cluster with a whole load of crystals. And if it gets separated, and that might be because there's been an earthquake or a dinosaur's walked past and stepped on it or something like that. So we're talking about millions of years, hundreds of millions of years ago. And then sometimes this other end, which appears just broken up, sorry, I'm really having difficulty with where the camera is showing. There we go. Yeah, and this one, it's just broken off. But sometimes this end starts to grow baby crystals, and we call them self-healed crystals. And the other way crystals reproduce is that you can take any type of quartz. This is citrine, which is a type of quartz. You can smash it into 1 million pieces. Don't worry, we're not going to do that. And you can just scatter it all over the place. And whenever any of those pieces come into contact, will end up in the perfect growing environment for quartz crystals, it'll act as a seed crystal and it'll start again. And that might be a really rare thing at the moment on the planet. But quartz is the most abundant mineral on planet Earth. And quartz crystals are quite rare, but quartz generally isn't. It makes up about 70% plus of the Earth's surface. So that includes everything from quartz crystals, jasper, agate, chalcedony. They're all types of quartz. And whenever you get these seed crystals in a bit of earth in the ground, which is a perfect growing environment for quartz crystals, it will act as a seed and it will grow a new crystal. And over the past 4.5 billion years or 4.2 billion years that the Earth's been solid, there's been a solid surface on it, every single bit of the Earth at one stage or another has been the perfect growing environment for quartz crystals. And over the next 11 billion years before we disappear into the sun or whatever it is we're going to do, I guarantee to you every single bit of the Earth's surface will be the perfect growing environment for quartz crystals at different times. There is no way you can destroy a quartz crystal. You can only make more of them.
When you talk about crystals for humans, are they good for animals like dogs and cats?
Oh, absolutely, yes. They're incredible. I've got 2 dogs who are at the moment being really well behaved, which we're hoping they're going to remain so. But they choose their own crystals. You know, they come into my crystal store and they pick their own crystals. Sometimes they try to pick some of mine. That they're not allowed to do, but they do come in and they pick their own crystals. And yeah, they absolutely.
I suppose it's difficult with cats and dogs because you think, oh, there's something wrong with the dog, but I just don't know what it is. Can the crystal tell you then?
Yeah, not exactly, but it can give you a really good idea because you can tell from the crystal the sort of thing that might be wrong with the dog by what the crystal does.
Right. Moving on a little bit. What are chakras and meridians then?
Chakras are easier to talk the other way around. So meridians are are lines of energy that run through the body. So they're a bit like the veins and the arteries that carry the blood, but they carry energy rather than blood. And where you get lots of them, or you get some of them coming together, you get more energy. And where you have lots of energy coming together, you have basically a spinning ball of energy, or it appears to be a spinning ball of energy, and that's a chakra. So you have more. The chakras basically are energy centers or energy hotspots, and they're the easiest place to exchange energy with the outside world. So they're the easiest place to share energy, either from you or to you. And so they're interestingly linking in with Eastern traditions mostly, and most healing modalities use the chakras as healing centers, and most martial arts use the chakras as kill centers because martial arts are all about energy as well.
Oh, very interesting. Tell us a bit about auras, the physical aura.
Okay, so the physical aura, depending on which way you're describing it, but the physical aura is the first layer of the aura. So it's really, really close to your body. And this is the bit that interacts with you physically. Another thought of it is the physical aura is this whole aura around you, which has different layers. And what's normally called the physical aura is that closest area to you. So that's the bit that's so close, it's really, really difficult to identify. It's the bit where you actually start to interchange with the outside world.
Right, yeah, because there's the astral aura as well.
Yeah, the astral aura is one of the furthest bits out, so that's way out, and that's the bit that basically you're in contact with the outside world, or almost. There's the lower mental plane is on the edge of that, so that's the bit that actually contacts the outside world.
What about the emotional aura?
The emotional aura, that sits in between, of course, and that's the bit where all the colors change. So, you know, people talk about colors in the aura. Most of the aura doesn't have color, but there's this one big chunk of it which does, and that's where the colors come in. And you have to be really careful, because when you start seeing auras, everyone actually sees the etheric aura first, which is just outside the physical aura. And the problem with that is that everyone, literally everyone, sees that as either sort of a slightly grey or slightly lavendery, purpley type colour. And the big problem with that is that when you see colours and think about colours. If someone's got a grey aura, I'll put that in inverted commas. If they've got a grey aura, they're really likely to be. Hello, sorry, I've got a dog here now. Trying to join in. Yeah. If you've got a grey aura, you're likely to be passing over to the next world very, very soon. If you have a purple aura, you're likely to be a very, very spiritual person. And it's about 50-50 with the etheric aura, which has nothing to do with the colours in the aura, or whether you're about to live or not, or pass on, or whether you're a spiritual person or not. But when you start seeing those colours, it is just so almost obvious to you and completely incorrect that half of the population you know are about to die and the other half are really, really spiritual.
Yeah, well, there's Steph just asking a question. Which crystals would Philip recommend for my rescue dog? He has PTSD from being abused.
Okay, so from one of my hobbies is actually training dogs as well, and I do a lot of work with dogs, and my two dogs are actually trained as therapy dogs, and they come into the therapy treatments that I do sometimes when they want to. They're never forced to.
Yeah.
But if they want to, they come in and join in with the treatments as well. So one thing is calcite. So calcite works for people. It also works for animals, and it's just really, really calming. Make sure you got quite a big piece, because you don't want it so small that the dog can swallow it. I've never actually known a dog swallow a crystal, but I always say don't have something that's too small. Okay, so a bigger piece, just pop it in their bed or wherever they sleep. If they sleep on your bed or on the floor or wherever they spend a lot of time, just pop it there. And you'll probably find that they curl up with it quite happily. If they don't like it, they will move it away.
Right. You couldn't really attach it to its collar or something, could you?
Yeah, you can get a small piece and you can stick it on the collar. Problem with most dogs' collars is that it's not going to stay on. But you can tape it on, and you'll lose it sooner or later and tape another one on. Yeah.
Right.
Personally, I prefer bigger pieces that they can then, if it's a big piece, they can choose when they want to be near it and when they don't want to be near it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, because dogs would do that, wouldn't they? If they don't like it, they shove it away.
Yeah.
What's good for arthritis in your feet?
Chrysocolla and copper, the two crystals together. So if you can, get some flat pieces, a couple of flat pieces, and just tape them on as close as you can to the joint that hurts most.
Right. Now, I've had arthritis in my feet for 20 odd years. I just get on with life, and but sometimes when you put your feet up, it's worse, and you think it would be opposite to put your feet up and rest. It's like toothache.
Yeah, I think when you stop using them, they are allowed to hurt.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So, well, that's good. I'll try that anyway. What is divination?
Divination, literally contacting the divine. So that depends on your personal belief or anyone's personal belief. Whatever you believe is out there, be it God, spirits, angels, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, whoever, whatever, Krishna, whatever you believe is out there is divine. And for some people it's nature, and for some people divinity is within you. So contacting the divine might be contacting your inner self or your higher self, but it's basically a connection to whatever you believe is there. Crystals are amazing for that. A really simple one is amethyst. Amethyst is really, really good for helping you to connect to that divinity. In actual fact, it's been used for thousands of years historically. So even things like the Pope uses amethyst in his crown and in his staff, and some popes have it in their ring as well. Catholic cardinals tend to have amethyst in their rings as well to help that connection to divinity. Yeah, the Romans did, all over the place, keeps popping up.
What is human energy system?
The human energy system is basically your meridians, your chakras, and your aura all linked together, all making you tick and function. So there's a, oh, sorry, I've got a dog really trying to join in. Teddy, you're too big to be. Yeah, do you want to come in here? No. Okay. No, you can't have any more. No. So we've got an energy system that gives it. Let me just give him a treat. Bear with me.
All right.
Stop. Stop. Okay. No. Oops. Sorry, Bob.
It's all right. Seated dog.
Yes. They're not normally here. You see, there are two of them, but they're not normally here when I do anything online. But we have them tonight. So we have them. Okay. Human energy systems. So we've got our physical energy that we know about. That is all run by a reaction, which is a loop, basically. So something called adenine triphosphate breaks down with an enzyme to adenine diphosphate, and it releases energy. And then it loops back with this enzyme making adenine triphosphate again, and the spiral goes round, and that produces all of the physical energy that we have. There's just a problem with it. And the problem with it is that it only produces 20% of the energy that the human body needs, or an adult human needs, to exist. And that's scientific fact. We knew that. So in 1979 or thereabouts, I did a degree in biology at university, and we knew that then. We know that now, and it hasn't changed. So one of the many things that I do is that I have done, is I lecture to doctors and medical professionals on complementary therapies. And I always start off that lecture by basically saying to them that the only, and it really is the only biological mechanism of producing energy in the human body of any amount, of any significant amount, is this adenine triphosphate, ATP, becomes ADP, and it loops around. And it does only produce about 20%. And they all know this because they've done it year one of their medicine degree, their medical degree.
Yeah.
And the only other suggestion that we have is there's something called chi, which is this universal energy that is everywhere and is part of, and this is what when you talk about the human energy system, is basically running chi and moving that around and storing it up and holding it and doing everything. And I say to them, you know, this must make up 80% of the energy, because we're missing 80% of the energy. Science knows we're missing 80% of the energy. They won't give it a name. So you're then with this wonderful thought that I give them, which is that if they're right, and ATP is the ATP-ADP cycle is the only thing that produces energy in the human body, then they might be 20% right. And if I'm right, and it's chi that produces most of the energy in the body, then I might be 80% right. And at this point in time, every single one of them always says, oh yeah, what's he going to say next? And the key to it, which when I started giving this lecture 25 years ago I've been doing this. But when I started doing it, the key thing that came out of it since then is, I think in the last sort of 10 years or so, has really been discovered, and people have started really recognizing it, is this thing called dark matter and dark energy. And it's really a fascinating thing because it makes up somewhere between 60 and 80% of the universe. And so there was this guy, really brief history of it. There's this guy called Einstein, who everyone knows is the cleverest man who ever lived. And he came up with his theory of relativity that basically energy equals mass times a constant, which is the speed of light, squared. And that's it. And out of this, he produced this thought that there's this stuff called gravity, which of course Newton, as the apple had fallen on his head and all that stuff beforehand. But you've got gravity, and gravity holds you to the planet's surface, which is why we don't all float off in space. But Einstein, he, remember, is the cleverest man in the world, and he said, wow, you know, I've got this wonderful theory of relativity, but it doesn't work because there's not enough mass in the universe. There's not enough weight to hold everything down. So there has to be something else. And so although he said, well, he didn't, everyone else said he was the cleverest man in the world. He said, you know, I came up with this answer to everything, and then said, by the way, I'm wrong, guys. And then he promptly died. Since then, people have been looking for this stuff called dark matter or dark energy, and then they've now actually started to find it and be able to find it. It's only called dark. It's not a bad thing. It's just dark because at the time we had no way of measuring it or seeing it or recording it at all. So scientifically, it's dark. That's it, basically. And so it makes up 60 to 80% of the whole universe, of you, of me, of everyone who's watching, listening to this, of the tables, the chairs of your computer that you're watching it on, of the air we breathe, everything, including the human body. So once again, we're at this place where this stuff, and you can call it dark matter or you can call it chi, whatever you like, I don't care. But that is that bit of missing energy that makes us work, physically work. And I noticed there are a few comments from people which are just sort of flying up my screen. Steph's the last one about being able to feel the chi energy. And there were a couple of other people I noticed who were saying couple of other things. And fillet of fish, dark, scary. No. Dark isn't scary. Dark is just not light. It's just we can't see it. That's all. It's not meant to be a scary thing at all. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I got a bit carried away with
that. That's fine. What about choosing a pendulum in store?
Oh, absolutely.
Simple. You?
Yeah, amazing. Go into a crystal store, and or you can do this online as well. But first of all, let's do it in a crystal store. Go into a crystal store, see a bunch of pendulums. Which is the first one you notice? And also, when you do this, go in with the purpose of choosing a pendulum. So just maybe stop for a minute outside before you go in and just still yourself, take a few breaths, focus yourself, center yourself and think pendulum, pendulum, pendulum. I want to buy a pendulum, and go into the store, have a look at their pendulum selection, see what the first one is that jumps out at you. Once you've done that, take the pendulum and ask the pendulum, are you a good pendulum for me to work with? So first of all, you need to know your yes and no, which is really easy. You can just hold the pendulum and ask it to show you a yes, and it will either move around in circles or backwards and forwards or side to side, which are the only things it can do. Yeah. And then ask it to show you a no. It will do another one of those things, a different one. Then ask it, are you a good pendulum for me to work with? And if it says no, put it back, try another one. If it says yes, buy it and go home. It's that simple. You can do the same thing online. If you're drawn to a pendulum, you're just scrolling through a website or whatever, just scroll through it and look at the pendulums. If you're drawn to one, if it jumps out at you, then go for it. Trust yourself, your inner intuition. That's how pendulum is basically working, is it's connecting with that inner bit of you, which knows the answer to everything, because you've got a bit inside you that knows the answer to absolutely everything. Everyone does. And it's the bit, it sits sort of at the top of your stomach. And we all know the feelings at the extreme. This bit just goes up and down. And you know that sinking feeling that says, whoa, I don't want to be here, get me out of here now. Yeah. And you also know the, wow, this is amazing, which is the up. And your inner pendulum goes up and down the whole time. It's doing it the whole time with everything I say. Hopefully more ups than downs with what I'm saying. But anyway, it's doing it the whole time because it knows the answer to everything. You know the answer to everything. You just don't know you know the answer. When you work with a pendulum and you've got this thing moving backwards and forwards in front of you, saying yes and no, it's connecting with that bit inside you. And the more you work with a pendulum, the more you recognize that bit inside you as well, because that's reacting, going up and down as your pendulum saying yes and no.
What about meditation and listening to your crystals?
Meditation is amazing. I think everyone should do it all of the time. Meditation, specifically listening to crystals, is really quite simple because you can just take any crystal. Sorry, I'm back to this which way around's the camera thing. Just hold it in your hand, look at it. Just look at it. Hold it, touch it, feel it, smell it. You can listen to it, hold it to your ear. When you hold a crystal to your ear, you'll hear a weird thing. It's like, it's a bit like holding a seashell to your ear, but it's not quite the same. And the reason for that is the sound you get from a seashell is a sort of spiraling thing that's going on with the air going in and out of the seashell. Whereas with a crystal, you're actually hearing the physical vibration of the crystal, because all crystals vibrate. It's what they do naturally. They literally, the molecules are going backs and forwards the whole time in them. Yeah, super amazing.
I know you. I don't know if I asked this question. Crystal cleansing methods: sound, running water, smudging, moonlight.
Yeah. So lots and lots and lots of ways of cleansing crystals. One of the easiest ways is just to take a crystal, hold it under your tap, and just let the water run over it. Nice and simple. For most crystals, there are a few which are water soluble, which you don't necessarily want to put in water. But if you've got a good crystal book like these, yeah, funnily enough, yep, there we go. Pocket Guide to Crystal Healing. The Crystal Healer, then they will say not to put them in water. So in my books it says no elixir, so you shouldn't make an elixir to drink, which is where you put crystal in water and let the energy from the crystal be absorbed by the water and then drink it. So if it says no elixir, don't put those into water, don't cleanse them with water. Another way is sound. So tingsha, I love using, which are Tibetan bells, some people know them as, and the sound from those, the vibration, literally shakes the energy out of the crystal. Smudge, sage sticks, or Palo Santo, American Indian, North and South American Indian methods of cleansing crystals. Things like moonlight. Put your crystals out in the moonlight. It's amazing.
I'm going to say about charging crystals.
Yes. Personally, I don't go so much for charging crystals because I think that they know what they're doing. And when you charge a crystal, you're limiting what it could do. So it's a bit, some people call it programming crystals as well. And you can do that. So the idea is that you've got a crystal and you want it to help you with one very specific thing. So you focus your mind and your energy on that thing, and you might have other crystals around it to focus more energy to it. And then that crystal will become really, really, really good at doing that one thing. But the great but to this is that the crystal might have done something else really, really, really well, which would help you a lot more, which you didn't know about. And that won't happen because the crystal's now really focused on doing this thing you've asked it to do. I just think they know more than we do, basically.
Right. There's one from Mel here.
Mhm.
Philip, what does pink aura mean around a person?
It usually means a lot of love actually coming off of that person. Again, it depends on the shade of pink. So a really soft, gentle, loving pink energy, that's lovely. Someone might have a sort of almost shocking pink color, which probably means that they're out for party time, basically. But usually with a pink aura, it's that soft, gentle pink energy, which is a loving energy.
I know you can use crystals on your body
Yes.
to treat yourself.
Absolutely. One of the easiest ways to do it is with a chakra set with just 7 crystals. There are specific ones which will work very well, but you can just work with any ones that tie in with the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Indigo, of course, is a dark blue. And those tie in with the chakras from the base, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, brow, and crown as you go up. And you can just literally lie down, place the crystals on your chakras, put on some really great chilly out music. I've got a great album, Walking the Walk, which you can download or stream from anywhere. And actually, just whilst we're talking about music, I've got a new single which I brought out actually just a few weeks ago, which is called Om is the Sound of Creation. So check it out.
Good.
Wherever you listen to your music, on whatever streaming service. Om is the Sound of Creation. It's really upbeat, and it's based on the Sanskrit chant, the traditional one, which is Om Namah Shivaya. Just different play on it. Yeah, more rock and roll.
Sounds very interesting, that does.
Yeah.
What about exercising with energies?
Oh, exercises with energies. You can have loads of fun with energy. You know, you've got energy coming out of your hands, you've got energy from crystals, you've got energy from your pets, you've got energy in rooms and spaces, and you can just play with them. Quite literally, it's great fun actually to just do it with another person. If you just put your hands, 2 people putting their hands towards each other, so their hands are coming like this.
Yes.
And don't quite touch. If you do this with another person, it's best. Don't let your hands quite touch, but just go really, really close. And what you'll find is they just build up more and more and more and more energy in that space. And you'll find very often that if you actually do touch, then that energy starts to dissipate. So it gets less. That's the energy in the space is the biggest point. And you can play with it as well. You can do this yourself actually, where you can just sort of get your hands together, and again, not touch, but just start to feel the build-up of the energy, and you can just feel it into a ball of energy. And as you do that, the ball can get bigger and bigger, and you can squidge it, and you can actually feel it all the way around. And then you can do that with friends as well. And then you can just pass that to another person.
Very interesting.
Yeah, energy party tricks.
Yes. There was something else I was going to ask you. Where are we now? Got lost again. Perform a crystal reading.
Oh, yes. So crystal readings are great. You can do it in several ways. Personally, I like doing it with what I call a crystal divination basket, which is just a basket full of crystals and loads and loads and loads and loads of crystals that have just collected over years and years and years. And literally just take the crystals and drop them out onto a table or onto a mat or carpet or anything like that, any soft surface basically, or padded surface, and they will fall out into a pattern, and then they will start to talk. And you can start doing this with just a few crystals, and you can add to it as you go along. And they talk to you. Firstly, they talk to you because they form a shape or a pattern, a picture that you can start to interpret. But also each individual crystal will actually have information in it that it imparts. And in another one of my books, actually, which is Crystal Connections. Why haven't I got a copy in front of me? Anyway, Crystal Connections. It's got a whole section on crystal divination. Oh, there we are. Thank you. Yeah. So that's got a whole chapter, in fact, on crystal divination, and that's my favorite way of doing it. But you can also do it really simply yourself, just every day. If you've got a bowl of crystals or a basket of crystals, you can just put your hand in and pick one out and see what that crystal is. And what I like to do with that myself is that I just take the crystal and keep it with me all day, and then see how I feel. And then at the end of the day, I'll look it up and see why I've got that crystal. Now, of course, I might not actually need to look it up because I probably know what the crystal is in any case. But that's probably a good way to do it for yourself, so that you're not influenced during the day of what you think the crystal should be doing for you. But you just, you just live your day and then see how the crystal has affected you at the end of the day.
What about crystal casting?
Yeah, crystal cast. That's the idea of the divination basket, of having a basket of crystals and you cast them out and then you look at the patterns and stuff.
Very.
Can I put my crystals in the microwave to charge them? No, that's not the answer.
No, surely not.
No, absolutely not.
You know, you're talking about all different sorts of crystals. And you've got, if you put all your different crystals out there, which one would you pick for yourself and think that's good for me?
Well, mine changes, and everyone's does really. Not necessarily every day, but every few days, definitely, depending on what you're doing and how you're feeling and life, the universe, and everything, whatever's going on at the time. One of my favorites is citrine, which is this guy that,
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites. And another one's tourmaline. So this one here, this is tourmaline, which I'm not sure if you can actually see that. But anyway, yeah. So that I wear the whole time, and there's another citrine there that I wear the whole time as well. Excuse me. So those are two of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, my crystals that came out of my pocket before. Here we go. So these are the ones that you've got the citrine. We've got peridot that we've already talked about.
Oh yeah, the green one, yeah.
We've got red jasper here. So, whoops, that way. So red jasper, this is really grounding, keeps your feet on the ground, and it also helps to keep you well when you are well. So it's just a general tonic. Turquoise. Turquoise is really good for travelers, anyone who's traveling, and American Indian idea of traveling is not necessarily going on some big trip around the world or whatever, or to another country. But if you're going down the road to the chip shop at the end of the road, that's also a journey. So anything is a journey, and you can also go on a spiritual journey. Then we've got this guy here, which is labradorite. You might be able to see the colors there.
Yes.
That amazing blue flash on that one. Yeah. So this one is about magic, really, and it allows magic to happen around you. So you're not trying to do things. Things happen. And the problem with a lot of things is when you try and do it and you put too much energy into it, you actually block yourself from doing it and block things from happening. You have to release things. Put your intention out there and then release it to the universe. And the last one here is carnelian, and carnelian is magic, total magic, because it protects against viruses. But, and here's the big but, I have, for some reason, when the pandemic started, right at the beginning of it, I had this message come through, whatever, I don't know, that just said carnelian. So I thought, okay, I'm going to carry carnelian. And then I just started telling everyone I knew, keep carnelian with you 24/7. And every single person who carried carnelian with them 24/7, but I mean 24, literally the whole time.
Yeah.
didn't get COVID. Not one.
Brilliant.
On the odd occasion when someone said, "Oh, I was carrying it the whole time and I got COVID," I really pushed them about were they really carrying it the whole time. And every single time they'd say, "Oh no, when I went to see my mother or something, I didn't take it with, and there were these people there." Yeah, and absolutely. And so when I was diagnosed with cancer recently, I went to the hospital, and the guy in the hospital who does some of the lung testing, he has a team of people who work with him, and I said to him about the carnelian, and he is interested in complementary therapies, and he said basically, he had a team of 14 people, and 10 of them got COVID continuously. And these are all people working on the front line, testing lung function. So they're actually working with COVID patients the whole time through the pandemic. 10 of them continually got COVID over and over and over. They would get it, and then they would be okay, and then they'd get it again and be okay. 4 of them didn't. And he asked them about carnelian, and 2 of them said that they were my customers and I told them to have carnelian, and the other 2 told him that the other 2 told them to carry carnelian, and that was it. Those 4 people did not get COVID, and they were working on the front line testing lung function in a COVID ward the whole time through the pandemic.
That's brilliant.
So weird stuff, it works. I don't have a great explanation for it. I just know it works. And a lot of this stuff is trial and error. And you find something that works, it works. Go with it.
Especially for you.
Sorry, you disappeared there, Bob. Sorry, Bob, I've lost your sound. Are you back?
Again. What about your new book?
My new book, that's this one. Right, yes, I can hear you just about. Crystals for Everyday Living. So Crystals for Everyday Living, this is really about all of that everyday stuff that you can do yourself at home. It's about you, your life, how you live your life, your home. It's about bringing happiness. It's about helping you achieve the goals that you want, and it's about enhancing all of the elements of your life and your well-being, and just being in a healthy space, a happy space. Just the place that you
about your
be.
work. I'm going to say, what about your work?
My workshop. Sorry, you keep breaking up now, Bob. But my work, I've got a brand new workshop for this, Crystals for Everyday Living. I do workshops the whole time. So check out the website, which is thecrystalhealer.co.uk. All of the workshops and courses are on there, and I've got a brand new workshop on crystals for everyday living, which really looks at your home, crystals in your home, how to change things around, how to achieve what you want to achieve with every space in your home. Everyone wants different things from different rooms. And what do you want? What do you want in different rooms? Do you want it to be calm and relaxing? Do you want a place for study? Do you want to be focused on something? Do you want to chill out? And the best example of it is a bedroom. Do you want your bedroom to be just really, really calm and relaxed, or do you want it to be hot and steamy and sexy? There's no right, there's no wrong, but what do you want? And that, crystals can help you achieve either or both.
Well, we've had a great show as usual. Thank you for all the questions in the chat room. It's always good. It makes me feel better as well. The other people are wanting to know about things.
Sorry, Bob, you cut out again, so I'm not quite hearing everything. But I'm going to assume that that was sort of we're getting to the end of the show, and I hope everyone can hear me because all I can see is me at the moment, and I can't actually see Bob. So I'm going to say from both of us, it's been great. Thank you for joining us, and I think. Rebecca, thank you. Yep, I'm glad you enjoyed tonight as well. I really enjoyed it, actually. I love doing this stuff with Bob. It's absolutely great. Do check out my website, which is thecrystalhealer.co.uk. And also check out my music. And loads of meditations I've done. All of them are on all of the streaming services, whether it's Apple Music or Amazon Music, Spotify, whatever it is that you use. Just go there, search my name, Philip Permut, which is on the screen, I believe. And check out the website as well. That's the easiest way to do everything. And you can get loads of crystals from the website. And if anyone needs anything or just has any questions, then drop me a message. You can do that on YouTube or on I know a lot of you are on YouTube, or you can do it through Facebook or Instagram, where I'm Philip Permut or the Crystal Healer. Bob's back
I'm
now,
back
I think.
again.
Yeah, you're back again. Okay. So I was just saying
again.
goodbye, Thomas, Bob, because you disappeared.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's absolutely wonderful, Philip. It's been always great when you're on the show.
Thank you. And I hope to see you again, Bob, soon, and everyone else.
Yes, sometime in the summer, sometime further down the line. We'll get you back on with your new book.
Lovely. That would be absolutely wonderful. So have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you. Will do. And you take care and look after yourself.
Yes, and you.
I'll try. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
End stream. Let me just cancel it first. Stay. Just end this stream.